Пане Артеме,
So, Artem, during the post-war recovery, the balance should be ensured between the speed of implementation and the quality. So, how does the ministry plan to control that the construction control systems and standards are adhered to? Well, thank you for having me here. It's an extremely important topic, the recovery, rebuilding of Ukraine. We understand that 13% of the housing has been lost, ruined in part or in full. So we're talking about 2.5 million of Ukrainians who've lost their homes. That's why it's extremely important to implement new programs, including the e-recovery, e-відновлення. This program already exists, it's operational, and it's important people know about it. So our ministry, along with the teams from other ministries, are working on implementing those programs. We also have this platform, it's called the Dream. It's an additional tool that helps us implement the projects in recovery. But when we're talking about rebuild and recovery, it's first and foremost the housing, because it's about the people, and it's a priority to the government, to the president, so that the Ukrainians come back home. And this requires us to give them, to ensure them with the housing, with the infrastructure for normal life. So this approach of build back better is there with us. So we are discussing some point approach. This is the priority for our ministry, and we pay specific focus on the front areas, because people in those areas require specific attention and specific approach, because it's also about the psychological perception, because there are different generations of people, and to understand that there are mostly let's say elderly people remaining in those areas. So this is a comprehensive approach, and obviously we're not only discussing the construction of the building of the houses, but it's also about the schools, about the kindergartens, and some health care. So this is the comprehensive approach. One of the challenges of recovery is the lack of construction materials and the increasing costs of that, given the logistical policy. Now I'm talking about Ukrenergo, Ukrainian railways. So what are the mechanisms or tools that the government, the country can suggest for using Ukrainian construction materials, especially those produced locally? Well, let me say that other than these challenges, we also have this challenge about the human power, about the workforce, because other than the construction materials or some additional materials for construction, we need well, we lack people because of the war, because of losing many people, well, and these are mostly men. When we talk about the construction materials, of course, we get support on the ground, because it's quick and it's supporting the Ukrainian economy. It's about the cooperation through the recovery agency, which also is subordinate to the ministry, which is why every project has some specific meaning and it means something to us. In this context, I would talk to Ihor. Do you feel the support from the ministry in terms of such offers? No, we don't. Okay, so we already have a discussion here. Now let's talk about that. Yes, we face the cost, the higher cost of the construction materials. We see the inflation, and even the cost of that concrete cement has increased 105 times. We have this higher cost of the fuel, of the energy carrier, so a lot of other carriers that you have mentioned.
We are relying mainly on our own selves, on our own investments, in order to secure ourselves cheap energy and maintain this level of production. Could you please tell us about some life hacks? How are you doing this? Because plenty of companies are being shut down, and I changed our the subject of our talk to business, because currently Ukrzaliznytsia is raising their prices, and Ukrainian railways, and so do many other businesses. They always factor in indexation in their plans, and if Ukrainian railways, Ukrzaliznytsia, and other ups the prices, and construction companies stop using the services of Ukrainian railways, and then the state budget has to cover the cost of new tenders, of the problems of Ukrainian railways, as well as they have to service the roads and maintain the roads. And for example, when it comes to resources and raw resources agreement, actually we are lacking any understanding what the state could give us. Maybe we could reach some common ground. We don't know how to survive, because the company in Kryvyi Rih doesn't feel your support. Well, they don't feel it, but there is our support there. How can we balance the support of the state and the business? You know, the Ukrainian railways lost their markets in Kharkiv, Kherson partially, as well as in Zaporizhia, Lugansk, and currently we have to move our production closer to central Ukraine, and we can see that with Ukrainian railway tariffs raising by 20%, it's almost impossible to do. And we have to focus on more western regions of Ukraine. Artem, what do you think? I wouldn't be so pessimistic. Of course, there are some challenges since our country is in year 3 of very aggressive war, and we have to understand that plenty of stuff has been made in order to support our economy, thanks to the collaboration with our foreign partners, international partners. Of course, we understand all the challenges and difficulties, but it's the time when the government and the state and the business have to unify, have to join their forces. And the situation in the east of Ukraine isn't dramatically different from the center or the west. Each case has to be reviewed separately, and we always have to find some ways out of our challenges, some solutions to the challenges. When it comes to Ukrainian railways, it's transporting the citizens, so it's not only about supporting business and railways. It's also about the possibility of our citizens to move to to avoid being stuck in one place, because over these 4 years, millions of Ukrainian citizens were brought by Ukrainian railways to different parts of Ukraine and Europe. Okay, and now I would like to ask a question about the export. So far, the Ukrainian government hasn't shown any changes. The value of production is influenced by logistic issues, and 30–40% of our excavation prices are formed by tariffs. The excavation business is active 24/7. It's a continuous process, and I would like to ask Ivan this question. How much would be the certification? How much would be the cost in order to excavate raw materials? And what is going to influence your decisions? You know, we cooperate with Ukraine Association UKRAINIan, and we are postponing our activities by a year because it's worsening our possibilities of exporting. You know, in Ukraine, energy prices are far bigger than in Europe. We have a terrible problem with a lack of workforce, so it's super hard for us to remain our competitiveness, and every 10–20 euros of margin in a ton of cement is something that doesn't allow us to compete. So we hope that the state is going to help us maintain our competitiveness, but we are lacking the support as of now, and it would be good to regulate these additional taxes that we have to bear. If we were to run a summary of our dialogue, our short discussion, is it possible for the association to organize a branch meeting with your companies in order to create a roadmap for the future that would remove any logistic obstacles in order to better the cooperation with governmental bodies? You know, first and foremost, we are always trying to search for solutions. But here we have to engage our colleagues from the Ministry of Economy. This is the component that cannot be omitted. This economic compound is incredibly important when it comes to European integration. We have some obligations, and we are moving towards this direction. It's a priority for our government. So not everything is happening as we wished it to be, but in general we are moving in the right direction. We are open to dialogue, and we are really hoping to find correct solutions and timely solutions. Thank you very much. I don't have anything else to add. That's it. Our panel is over. If there are any questions, please raise your hands. Okay, no questions? Then thank you very much. No.